This has to be my favourite flight of 2022 so far. Fly over Brighton, my old school, Lewes, Eastbourne, Beachy Head and Newhaven. And I've got myself a new in-flight microphone. Hope you like it. It's 8:05, so 5 minutes after my planned takeoff time. Wing is laid out over there, facing this way. Forecast, switchy wind early on, but developing into a 10-mile-an-hour westerly. So there's the coast straight ahead. That's westerly, so the wind should be blowing this way, so it should really be running that way if I leave it an hour. But at the moment it's just thermic air in a nil wind, which I've got a full tank, switchy nil wind. I'm just going to watch this sock. Don't like the look of it. Yeah, let's just run straight down easterly. We're not getting any westerly movement at the moment. Let's just pick the wing up and move it over. That is perfectly laid out. It's the most important part of paramotoring, apart from your pre-flight checks, is a perfect wing layout into wind. So lots of fresh cowpats around. Fresh cowpat in my wing. Nice. Just run straight down there, get the power on, try not to break my prop, fall over. We want first time launch, so it's worth putting in a few extra minutes of time. Just going to pull the back of the wing back a bit so that the centre comes up first. Sock is now a westerly. I've laid my wing out into the east. It's also good to look at the balloon forecast. The balloon forecast is very accurate if you have a balloon station nearby. Nearest one to here is Hicksted. Right, what's the sock doing now? So change of plan then. Yeah, let's go for a third wing layout. I think that's the sensible option. I do not want a failed launch. So I left home this morning at 5:30, arrived at the field just after 7:30, probably 8:15 now, still not in the air. Right, so I'm going to commit to a westerly, even though at the moment it's northeasterly. What could possibly go wrong? Next challenge in paramotoring is getting the engine started on your back. Leg straps tighten, speed bar tighten, waist strap. Second pull, not bad. Straps, chest, chin, waist, 2 legs, reserves on. Let's go. Right. Here we go. Forward launch. Just check again, all good. Trims are set to 2. Oh yay! I did it first time. Yes! Yes! This is Saltdean with a nice Lido down there. So I'm so relieved to get up on my first attempt. It's not good on a hot day to fail a launch and have to relay your wing out. You get very hot and sweaty. Got my coffee and enjoying some spectacular views along the East Sussex coast. Now approaching Brighton and Brighton Marina. This is Roding School below, which was founded in 1885 as a school for girls. This is Brighton Marina, which is Britain's largest marina, first developed in 1971 and covers 127 acres, got lots of residential housing. So this is Brighton, very famous place, and the Palace Pier. This was the third pier to be built in 1899 and was to replace the Royal Suspension Pier. This here is the West Pier, which opened in 1866, closed in 75 and fell into disrepair, became derelict and was subject to 2 counts of arson and storms, and there's little left of it now. Now flying along Hove towards Portslade and Shoreham Harbour. So Brighton's population grew rapidly in the mid-1800s after the construction of the London to Brighton Railway, and is 47 miles south of London. So this is Portslade, Shoreham Harbour, and the new power station, which was built in the year 2000. I saw these fluffy clouds and thought I can't resist getting above those, so did a turn away from Shoreham Airfield and above the fluffy clouds. Absolutely love it up here.
Ah, smell that cloud.
So now that I've flown around Brighton, the plan is to fly over to Lewes and then over my old boarding school, which I have some very fond memories of, St Bede School, now called Bede School, and then over to Eastbourne, Beachy Head and Newhaven and back to the airfield. So my planned trip length is probably around 2.5 to 3 hours. And this is Falmer Stadium, which was built in 2011. And here we are over Lewes. If you've not been to Lewes, I really recommend you go down there. It's a very old town. It's famous for the Lewes bonfires. And this here is Lewes Castle, built in the 11th century. I remember going here in my teenage years as a kid and just being absolutely amazed at the size of the bonfires. I think they're the largest in the UK, to commemorate the 17 Protestant martyrs burned at the stake for their faith in the 16th century. So now approaching Upper Decker, the site of the Bede's Senior School. It's an independent boarding school. It does have day pupils as well. But I have some very fond memories of this place. I was here between 1984 and 88 as a child, as a boarder, and just had a really great time here. Really, really great time. I'm going to switch on the in-flight microphone. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Should I do that again?
So, this is St Bede's School. So this is the school I went to when I was a child in my teenage years. It's a boarding school. This here is a farm. Oh, there's the farm shop. Some very happy memories here. And that's the boarding house that I stayed in. Wow, that looks different. That looks very different. None of this was here when I was at school. Woo! Whoa, what thermal. That primary school down there, I used to help. I used to teach the kids when I was about 15. Down here should be the village shop. Let's have a look. See the village shop. Wow, it looks so different. So I was here between 1984 and 1988. Yes, I'm that old. The village shop looks exactly the same. Wow. That doesn't look any different from 1984. Okay, let's go to the other boarding house. I always felt that the guys at this boarding house were a bit separate from the main school. That's the main school down there. And there's another boarding house over here. It looks a bit like a castle. So here's the other boarding house, called Camberlot. There's Camberlot. We used to walk down here. At the end of this road used to be a little chef. We used to go to the little chef and get food just because we were sick of school dinners. Don't know if it's even part of the school anymore. Doesn't look like it is. I do feel very privileged to have gone there.
So a little trip down memory lane there for me. This here is Michelin Priory, which was established in 1229, quite close to the school. So flying over Pevensey Castle, which was a Roman fort in AD 290, part of the coastal defences but later abandoned. And 1066, the Norman landings with William the Conqueror and 700 ships arrived, and construction of a castle began, but the stone castle wasn't built until later in the 1190s by Richard I. So just flying along Pevensey Bay and on the way to Eastbourne. We used to come down into Eastbourne when I was at school on the train from Berwick Station, and just to get away from the countryside. But, I don't remember Eastbourne being that nice of a place when I was there, but it looks quite nice from the air. Nice little beach down there. It's typically a Victorian town, and the pier has some nice grand hotels along the seafront. Population of about 100,000 people now, I think. The pier was built between 1866 and was opened in 1872. I think Eastbourne is probably most famous for Beachy Head, which I'll show you in a second. But just along the coast here, just before Beachy Head, is the Bede's Prep School, which was established before the senior school. I didn't go to the prep school, but that's it down there below. So on our way to Beachy Head now, which is a chalk headland in East Sussex, the highest chalk cliff in Britain, rising 530 feet above the sea, making it a notorious suicide spot.
Beachy Head. If you want to kill yourself, this is a place to do it.
And here we have the Beachy Head Lighthouse, built in 1902 out of granite. No longer occupied by lighthouse keepers, it's now electrically powered. And here's the Long Man of Wilmington, which I've been to a few times when I was a kid. It's 235 feet tall, probably dates from the 16th and 17th century, but the history of it is a bit unclear. It's actually made of limestone now, replacing the chalk. And this here is the White Horse at Litlington, which I've also been to as a kid, and was cut in 1924, so that's quite new. So this will be the last landmark on the way back to the field, almost a 3-hour flight. This is Newhaven. My wing is actually here right now at the time of recording, after I damaged it at the PMC fly-in. And Newhaven has ferry services to Dieppe and is currently a freight terminal. Has a fort on the side of the hill, which I didn't actually manage to capture on the camera, but that was built in 1862. So I'm going to hand you over now back to the in-flight microphone. Let me know what you think of it.
So the field has cows in it now. All fresh cow pats. This is going to be interesting. That straps are tight. Camera's stowed. Wow. It's literally a field of cows down there. So there's going to be a lot of rotor coming up that hill. Interesting. Had a nil wind takeoff. 5 miles an hour I'm doing now. Trims are at. Let's have a look. Let's let that one out slightly. 3. Ground speed is 3.5 miles an hour. Interesting. Look at that sulk.
Oh, what a landing. That was up and down like a roller coaster. Almost turtled. Managed to grab the wing. Cows are not running towards me, which is great. There's fresh cow pats literally everywhere. Right, let's get the motor in the van. Look at the sock! I was doing literally nothing when I launched. What time is it? 11:20, so 3-hour flight nearly. Took off about, don't know actually, was it 20 past 8, half 8? So nearly 3 hours. Alright, can I get over this without wrecking myself? Probably not. I'm gonna have to jump, aren't I? Paramotor on your back. Oh. Oh, look at that wind. That sock. Crazy stuff. Sweet. What a flight. What a flight. It's one of those. Look at that sock. It's almost horizontal. It is horizontal. Nuts. There's a cow come to see me. Just gonna get out of here. Oh, they all come over and start jumping on my wing. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it? Thing is, if once one comes over, they all think something's going on. They all get FOMO. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit the like button, it helps other people find the channel. And there's a link in the description to the photo album. I was really pleased how the photos came out. They're all high res, so have a look.